Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Going to read this evening from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, text number 20. That's the last verse in the chapter. And it's the verse after the one I spoke about earlier. So that's the one after I spoke about last time in Bhagavad Gita. It's just a sequence. And this is a nice summary of the entire chapter. It's the last verse of the whole chapter. So I'll summarize it. You get the whole chapter 12 in one verse. In a nutshell. Yesu dharmasatam idam yatokam ayupasate dadadana parama bhaktase tivane kriyaha. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. There's been several other verses where he said, very dear. But now he said it twice, very, very dear. What is so special about these particular devotees? Report. Bhagavad. In this chapter, verse 2, through to the end, from Mahi Avishamano Me Mam, or fixing the mind upon me, through this one which begins Ye Tu Dharmam Become Idam, which is translated this religion of eternal engagement. Dharma Amrita, the religion of eternal engagement. Very nice. No vacation, devotional service. The Supreme Lord has explained the process of transcendental service for approaching Him. The processes are very dear to the Lord, and He accepts a person engaged in them. Well, I could just spend the next meeting speaking about parts in the first book so far. Being accepted by Krishna, you know what that means? You couldn't ask for something more than that. Did any of you take part in the, I guess it was called the Japa retreat? Did they call it a Japa retreat? It was held in Ruby. How many of you took part in it? Okay. Was one of the exercises that you took part in some practice explained by Bhaktivinoda Thakur of chanting where one says to Krishna, please accept me. Did you do that one? Can't remember. Yes, Maharaj. Okay, thank you. Thank you. It's in relation to that exercise is in relation to a teaching that Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives about going more deeply into the chanting of the holy name. And one of the things to assist in going more deeply, there are three things. One of them is meditate on the meaning of the mantra while you chant it, so you know the meaning of the mantra. If somebody asks you, you're out on Harinam Sankirtan and somebody comes up and says, what's the meaning of that mantra? What do you tell them? The Prabhupada said, there's what you tell them. It's a call to the Supreme Lord. O energy of the Supreme Lord, Hara. In the vocative becomes Hare. Just like Radha's name is Radha. And when you call her, it's Radhe. Like when you go to Vrindavan. Radhe. We say no. Here in Guyana and in Trinidad, we're known as Haribol. I didn't know that until I came here. But I think I told you this last time I came. Didn't happen this time, but when I was boarding the plane or going through security in JFK, not this time, but last time I came here, the person at the security checkpoint was from somewhere from West Indies. And he looked at me and he said, Haribol. I said, you're one of them, right? You're one of the Haribols, right? I said, I didn't think of it as one of the Haribols, but I guess so. And it's Hare Krishnas. But Haribol. You all say Haribol. Okay, so the Haribol. So, in Vrindavan it's not Haribol, it's Radhe. Because Radha in the vocative becomes Radhe, and Hara, which is another name of Radha, or the internal potency of Krishna, in the vocative becomes Hare. I'll go a little deeper. Radha is given the name Radha because of how she worships Krishna. Aradhananam sarvesham. There's that verse that says, Radha's name is never mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Did you know that? Radha's name isn't mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, not even once. But she's referred to innocently by the gopis. When Shukadeva Goswami was saying that very special Aradhananam Sarvesham, amongst all the gopis, there's one who is the best of all worshippers. That's Radha. And Aradhanam Sarvesham. She's the best worshipper. So Radha. But another name is Hara. It's a little esoteric, but it's nice. What is Hara? Or what is the name Hari? What does Hari mean? What's the meaning? Hari. One who takes away. One who takes away. But when Hari takes away, Prabhupada explains, with thousands of hands, he takes away everything. But with thousands of hands, he gives back everything. Auspicious. He takes away inauspicious and he gives auspicious. So Radha's name, another name is Hara, because she steals the heart of Krishna. Hara. And she also steals away our other attractions except for Radha and Krishna. So, Hare, Krishna. O energy of Krishna, Hara. O Mother Hara. O energy of Krishna. Please engage me in service to Krishna. That's the meaning. So if you're going to meditate on the meaning of the Maha Mantra, O energy of Krishna, please engage me in service to Krishna. We're asking Radharani, we're asking Krishna's internal potency for devotional service. So the fruit of chanting is a purer heart that simply wants shelter in Krishna's service. And nothing else. All other shelters taken away by Hara. Because Hari in the vocative is also Hare. Did you know that? So sometimes people don't know is Hare, referring to Krishna. Hari, in the Bhagavad it becomes Hare, or Hara, the internal energy. You know the answer, it's the internal energy. Because we approach Krishna through the internal energy. But she just wants to serve Hari, so she also takes away all inauspicious things from our heart and helps us to become decorated with nice qualities so that we can become pleasing to Krishna. And that's what this 12th chapter is about. This last part of the 12th chapter is what Krishna feels. It's very confidential. So confidential. You say it out loud. And it's so confidential. You can declare it loudly and broadly, and it's still confidential. It's a different kind of confidential than a secret. It's the kind of confidential that's very dear to the soul because it's very dear to Krishna. He's describing his feeling when devotees approach him with nice qualities. He discussed this in the Gita. Where do nice qualities come from? Answer: from Krishna. Everything nice comes from Krishna. So nice qualities come from Krishna. So Krishna becomes pleased when he sees a nice devotee, sincere devotee, approaching him with nice qualities that Krishna has decorated them with. He's very pleased. He's very happy. He considers them very dear to him. But here, Krishna says, this particular person described in this verse is very, very dear to me. There's eternal engagement. There's no such thing as eternal engagement in the material world. Means everything is temporary. But there is such a thing as eternal engagement in the spiritual world. And it's what all souls, even the deluded souls, even the bad people of this world, they're serving. They're serving unfavorably. Prabhupada described this in Ishopanishad. The Bhagavad Vaishnava sees all living entities equally as Krishna does. He sees there's someone who's serving Krishna unfavorably. There's someone serving Krishna very favorably. But everyone is serving Krishna. Everyone is serving Krishna because it's our constitutional position. The eternal engagement of living entities. That's the opening line of the verse. Yesu dhamma amritam idam. That person who's taken shelter on the platform of the soul and they're happily amrita. Amrita means nectar, but it also means immortality. But eternally engaging in service. You just go from one service to the next service, to the next service, to the next service. And it's not dependent upon condition, how hot out it is, how cold out it is, how nice people are treating me, how mean people are treating me, how this kind of duality or that kind of duality. This doesn't depend on anything external, because it's coming from the internal, because there's real shelter in the constitutional for the serving Krishna. That's what the Krishna is real happy with. Such processes are very dear to the Lord, and He accepts a person engaged in them. So when we're chanting Hare Krishna, please engage me in your service, Bhaktivinoda Thakur expressed it in even more concise manner. Krishna, please accept me. Because accept me means I want to serve you. So the longer version is, my dear Lord Krishna, I turn my back on you. You know, but we have that expression, you know, persons are friends or married or something like that. And one just turns their back and walks the other way. And he did that with Krishna. He turned our back to Krishna. And he walked away. And we did some very bad things. You don't even want to talk about the bad stuff. You can even remember what the particular ones you can't remember. And our attitude toward Krishna, well, it smells bad. It stinks. At times, our attitude toward Krishna was negative. We had issues and attitudes toward Krishna. But Krishna didn't, like a loving father or a loving friend, he didn't turn his back on us for a second. In fact, we wanted to go away from Krishna, a land where there's no Krishna, the kingdom of God without God. So he hid himself inside our hearts to remind us of our real position, to help us understand, even as we're trying to enjoy independently from him, it's not a position of happiness. Krishna has been speaking that message from within our hearts since time immemorial. We're soulmates wander in the human species, in the bird species, in the worm in stool. Silver soul is there, accompanying like a dear old friend. Who will do that with any friend? But that's Krishna. How loving, unconditionally loving. That's Krishna. And now, my dear Lord Krishna, I realize I've made a terrible mistake. For lifetimes and lifetimes repeated the same terrible mistake, moment after moment, misusing free will again and again and again, and this becomes so conditioned. But now, taking Prabhupada's words, I come to my senses. I simply want to be engaged in your service. Please accept me in your service. That's the longer version. The shorter version is, Krishna, please accept me. And when you practice it, try it in your japa tomorrow morning. Chant, not just the sounds, the syllables, but chant with that entering into the feeling. Not even just like, two tracks. One track is make the sound, the other track is Krishna, please accept me. Like something mechanical. Try to enter into the spirit of calling like a helpless child or a helpless entity. Krishna, please accept me. I walked away. I turned my back on you. And I've been suffering terribly. And I want to be again with you. Please accept me in your presence. Please accept me in your service once again. And it's very powerful. It's very easy. It's very easy to fix the mind. We're chanting in that mood. The mind just flows to the sound of Krishna's holy name, into the person, to Krishna, our Master, our Lord, our dear Lord friend, our beloved, the source of real happiness and joy. And here, Prabhupada is writing in this purport, Krishna accepts a person so engaged by the processes of bhakti, devotional service that are described in this chapter. The question of who is better, going back to the beginning of the chapter, one who is engaged in the path of impersonal Brahman, or one who is engaged in the personal service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was raised by Arjuna. That was verse 1. And the Lord replied to him so explicitly that there is no doubt that devotional service to the Personality of Godhead is the best of all processes of spiritual realization. Maybe I'll read the first two verses though, and just like take a hammer, hit the head of the nail, boom! It's so emphatic. The question is so clear, the answer is so clear. And the rest is like whipped cream and icing. It's just add to the message. Arjuna inquired, verse 1, which are considered to be more perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Very clear question. A or B? Which is better? Krishna's answer. Those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshiping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be the most perfect. Very clear answer. Then he speaks about the other option, B, the impersonal future. Very troublesome, practically impossible. Even to think for a moment what to speak of unbroken. Try to think of that which has no quality, that which has no form, that which has no name, that which has no substance. You get to think of something like that. How do you think of something like that? What do you think of fixing your mind on something like that? Without deviation. Very difficult. Practically impossible. In other words, in this chapter it is decided that through good association one develops attachment for pure devotional service and thereby accepts the bona fide spiritual master, and from him begins to hear and chant and observe the regular principles of devotional service with faith, attachment, and devotion, and thus become engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord. This path is recommended in this chapter. Therefore, there is no doubt that devotional service is the only absolute path for self-realization, for the attainment of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna declared that at the end of chapter 11. Krishna's declaring that prompted Arjuna to ask this question. Krishna said, only by devotional service can I be understood as I am in my two-handed form, because he just got finished showing the universal form. And the universal form was so overwhelming. Arjuna, trembling, great warrior Arjuna, trembling, asked Krishna, please remove this form. Too much. So Krishna then showed his four-arm form. And then Krishna showed his two-arm form. And he said, nobody understands me as I am, except my devotee. Only my devotee can understand me as I am. Then Arjuna asked the question, which is better? And Krishna's answer, firm, fast. And the conclusion of the chapter, fast. It's not like, we have a prejudice here. We got our finger on the can scale and it's all reading in our favor because, we have a vision. Krishna's words are very clear. They're unequivocal. They're strong, unequivocal. The impersonal conception of the absolute truth, as described in this chapter, is recommended only up to the time one surrenders himself for self-realization. In other words, as long as one does not have the chance to associate with a pure devotee, the impersonal conception may be beneficial. Why beneficial? Because it speaks about austerities and control of the senses and control of the mind, withdrawing oneself from grosser forms of entanglement in Maya, of illusory energy. But such a person who is in a little bit better position than one who is in the soup, or the pool of Maya, that person, if they get the association of devotee, like Sarva Bhumavadacharya got the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he became a great devotee. And all of his thousands and thousands of followers, students, so he was a great, the most learned teacher in all of India at the time. He had thousands of students, and they all became devotees too, because he became a devotee through association. Becoming a devotee is necessary. Fortunately, if one develops directly a desire to engage in Krishna consciousness and pure devotion service, it does not need to undergo these step-by-step improvements in spiritual realization mentioned in this 12th chapter. There's this, you can't do this, do that, you can't do that, do that, you can't do that, do the other thing. And there's this, like a ladder. But if you're standing at the top rung of the ladder, you don't need to step by each of the steps of the ladder. You're already at the top rung of the ladder. The purpose of the lower rungs of the ladder is to get there. Conclusion of the purport: devotional service, as described in the middle 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, is more congenial. Direct engagement in devotional service is more congenial than the indirect step-by-step process. Congenial. What is congenial? Common usage of that is friendly. We say user-friendly. Something that's natural for us is congenial. The other process is mechanical and unnatural, and the process of devotional service is, for as far as the soul is concerned, it's our healthy condition. It's a natural state. One need not bother with materials to keep the body and soul together, because by the grace of the Lord everything is carried out automatically. You don't need something outside of Krishna for our well-being. We just need Krishna for our well-being. Just very much listening to Prabhupada speak on this point. He was describing the position of renunciation, and he was using himself as an example. And when I was a householder, the British had created an artificial famine. Artificial famine because they bought up all the rice and withheld the rice. So because they withheld the rice, the price of rice became 10 times the normal amount. He gave specific examples. He said, 1 kilo of rice would normally cost X rupees. I can't remember the numbers. But during the famine, it was 10 times. And a poor person didn't have 10 times. So they starved, literally. And many people died, thanks to the British artificial famine program. Why? They could jack up the price so people would pay more for rice. So Prabhupada said, as a householder, I went to the temple, the Bhaktisiddhanta's temple nearby, because I was concerned maybe the devotees are also in difficulty. So I went and asked them, are you okay? Is everything all right? And they said, oh, we have plenty. So many persons have given so much things for fun. And Prabhupada said, I could then understand. Krishna is maintaining them. And why Krishna wouldn't maintain them? You've heard this example so many times. An elephant eats how many kilos of grain a day? 10 kilos of grain. And an ant eats 1 grain of sugar. And who's maintaining him? The same Supreme Lord is maintaining everybody else. And the physician, Prabhupada, he was speaking in Sweden, and his argument was, don't work like a mudha. He said, this may not, the government, if they heard me speaking this way, they may think this is revolution. I'm trying to cause a revolution. Because the government wants you to work very hard. So they tax you very heavily. Just so you have to work very hard so you can maintain yourself. That's the government policy. They want people to work very hard. So this is what I'm saying. against government policy. But it's true. Krishna is the maintainer. And when one knows that Krishna is the maintainer, then the whole fruitive platform is not required. But one who has shelter in Krishna, we may work very hard in service of Krishna. But not for sense gratification or some comfortable situation, but in service of Krishna. We'll work very hard. It's altogether a different principle. It's not even a dovetail, it's just a different principle. Working hard for Krishna. Or striving to see that the motivation, the inspiration, what's in the heart of the devotee is, Krishna, please accept me in your service. You give me a little service to do. I'm very happy to give that little service, whatever that little service is. I don't have to worry about you maintaining me. When I came to your country. In India, a sadhu can go to, the temples are for sadhus. They go to a temple and immediately they get taken care of them. They get some prasad and a place to stay, because they're sadhus. And amongst people in general, when a sadhu goes to someone's home, they'll take care of them. But in your country, that's not so much the practice. But when I came, I didn't have any money. I didn't have any place to stay, but Krishna took care of me. Very dependent on Krishna. So we can think, well, that's Prabhupada and I need my situation. But for one who is dependent, this is the point, one who takes shelter in Krishna, that's all that one wants, is that shelter in Krishna, being accepted by Krishna. Prabhupada's point is Krishna won't take care of such a person. It's not like, someone who's a member of a family, the children have to go to their father or mother and say, can you please feed me today? You don't have to do that. The mother and father are happy to do that. It's their joy. It's not a chore or a duty. It's their happiness. It's Krishna's happiness to take care of his devotees. And the devotee's happiness is to be accepted by Krishna, to be engaged in his eternal service. Let me go back quickly. Won't take too much more time. But in the previous verse, in the previous set of verses, there are qualities that when Krishna sees them in his devotee, he's very pleased. I'm going to read the previous verse, the translation. One who is equal to friends and enemies, one who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. So, I'm going to remind you of one of the first instructions. Well, I'll ask you, what's one of the first instructions that Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita when he speaks about being detached from duality? Besides the Devotional Gita, that verse. There's another very early verse, Krishna speaking about don't become situated in duality, but become situated in Sat. Second chapter. Huh? I can't hear. Okay, what's the verse? How about Mata Svartas Tukaunteya Sitoshna Sukha Dukkha Agama Payonitya Tamasakitya Sabhara. It's speaking about duality. Sukha and Dukkha, happiness and distress. Sitoshna Sukha Dukkeshu, that's 12th chapter. So in the second chapter, Krishna is speaking about his advice to Arjuna is Titikshava. What does Titikshava mean? He's tolerant. It's hot in the summer and you go in the kitchen and cook because it's for the deities. It's cold in the winter. Well, here it's not so cold in the winter. Some places it's cold in the winter, but you take that, even if it's cold in the winter, because you have to be clean to worship Krishna. So it doesn't matter hot or cold, winter or summer, happiness or distress. Now that's a high bar to jump over, happiness or distress, because when I'm happy I can do a lot. When I'm unhappy, I don't feel like doing a lot. Moaning and groaning and grumpy and whining and everything like that. And not doing a lot of service. But one who tolerates those external things is the advice in chapter 2. And instead withdraws their consciousness in places inside. And here's the mature state. This is devotional service chapter. One whose shelter is Krishna. This feature of duality, that feature of duality. What is indifferent to it? It's not just tolerated. You've risen above it. You're transcendental to it. You can still see it, or feel it. See, it's hot out. See, it's raining out. You should take my umbrella. But you go about your service. You know, it's winter time, not here. It's winter time. When I left New York, it was 3 degrees Fahrenheit by wind chill factor. What that means centigrade is something like minus 15 centigrade. But the devotees were going about doing the service. It was a Sunday before I came down here. And the temple was packed. I thought, my goodness, these are very dedicated people. And I saw Bob David came in, he answers the phone at the front desk at the Brooklyn Temple. You know, his nose was dripping. His face was red. This one was the blasting of the wind. Then he came to do the service, and I came to his phone at the front desk at the temple for Sunday thing. He wasn't complaining. You know, he was happy to be in Krishna service. You know, to get on the plane and come down here, you've got to have a fan on. It's so hot. But, you know, it's not, oh, now I like it here, because it's warm and cold up there. But it's where there's service, one has power in Krishna service, then the feature of duality doesn't amount to a hill of beans. There's no significance to it. You may address yourself to it. You may have, like Prabhupada was asked on a number of occasions, is it okay, Srila Prabhupada, to go to an astrologer so that we can know how to prepare ourselves in devotional service? Prabhupada said otherwise, that was the intention. Prabhupada's answer was, if you know it's going to rain, you may carry an umbrella. That was his answer. So the devotee that asked Prabhupada the question thought he didn't understand the question. So later in the conversation he asked the same question, and he got the exact same answer. We don't value this so much. If you know it's going to rain, you may carry an umbrella. In other words, you don't base your life on what the feature of duality is going to be today, or this period of my chart, or, you know, how people are treating me, so now I'm enthusiastic and now I'm, you know, down in the dumps. If your shelter is Krishna, you're happy. And Krishna is happy with you. Krishna considers such a person very dear to him. And what could you want more than be very dear to Krishna? There isn't something more to want. It's the position of eternal happiness. It's our take it back to contact, just being situated on that platform. So in the beginning, we practice, tolerate. At a more advanced stage, we're becoming indifferent. At a transcendental stage, one is really transcendental. There's only one thing that's happening, that's service to Krishna, regardless. That's easy to say, and it's another thing to attain it. But it's the thing that's worth attaining. Krishna's association, Krishna's loving shelter, is the thing that's worth striving for. Take it. You got to do this way or that way. You have to do austerity. The materialists have their austerity, the devotees have their austerity. Take your pick. The austerity that leads to a dead end, or the austerity that leads to eternal life in Vaikuntha, the spiritual world, loving Krishna. I know which one I want. I'm very for it. And the message of Bhagavad Gita is pointing us this way. The 12th chapter is beginning and ending on that note. The processes of devotional service are very dear to Krishna. And one who takes up those processes of devotional service, they're very dear to Krishna. He accepts them. So may you all become accepted by Krishna. And as He's inviting you to return Him in the spiritual world, to get on board. Vaikuntha Vimana and take off. Any comments or questions from the verse? Or whatever you would like to ask? I know that you guys always ask this question. You're waiting to see someone else.
It's knowledge is thinker. If after hearing, you don't put it in practice.
Yeah, it's called unfortunate, or lazy, or always disturbed. Manda samanda mandayo manda. So we had a nice lively discussion this morning in Burmese. It started with Vishwarupa's question and then went to Haridasa's question. And we landed on the topic of accepting, this is my language, accepting Krishna consciousness in the mind, which I'll go on record as having said this. Largely my experiences, that's what devotees do. They don't accept Krishna consciousness from their heart, but they accept it from their mind. Which means, today I'm feeling like this. That's a statement of the mind. Tomorrow I may be feeling like that. And I can take it up today and leave it tomorrow. Because it doesn't suit my mind. So when the hard times of life come, or the topics of life come, or the test of how deep is our sincere acceptance of Krishna, that's a nice time for each one of us to find out how deeply we've accepted Krishna consciousness. So warning is, or the advice is, practice it. Practice it from the heart, not just in a routine fashion. From the heart. Like this example from Bhakti Thakur of chanting, Krishna, please accept me. It's not only chanting with a feeling, it's a very specific feeling. So, hearing mindless practice means one hasn't really heard. And there's a lot of that. One can say it. I've heard it. I can say it. But I don't practice it. That's acceptance within the mind. And Haridas was saying, in his way of looking at things, he said, we have two choices. We can choose shelter of Krishna, or we can choose the mind. And the mind can be in the realm of devotional service or outside the realm of devotional service, but with on the chariot of the mind. And the platform of devotion is from the heart. We really want to be in our relationship with Krishna. And so there are things that we apply in our lives because it brings me closer to Krishna. That's why I do that. Whether I feel this or feel that. I just, before coming down, receiving a letter from a devotee in Portland, Oregon, from somebody none of you know. It's a classic question. He and his wife just began chanting 16 rounds, and while they're chanting 16 rounds, there's no quality, there's no taste. They're doing it because it's one of the things that they know they should do. So they want to know how to go beyond that. It's a classic. Another way of saying the same thing is when will the day come when I'll actually experience feeling devotion? It's where there's practical application of this message of Bhagavad Gita. Anyone else? No free ride.
You have to pay a price.
You have to pay a price. Well, if you pay the price, you can understand what it means. If you don't pay the price, you can't understand what it means. He's not a free ride. I've not heard it expressed that way. Rupa Goswami says, for everything there is some price. You go to the marketplace, you want something, you have to pay a price. And so in the spiritual realm, there's also a price to pay for achieving Krishna consciousness, or bhakti, real feelings of devotion. And that price one has to pay is eagerness to have it. Complacency says, I just want to be comfortable. And if I'm comfortable, then, do Krishna. Until I'm feeling uncomfortable, then it's, oh, Krishna! And then I'm feeling comfortable again. Feeling Krishna, thanks so much. But if one who really wants a relationship with Krishna, really wants loving relationship with Krishna and all the feelings of a loving relationship with Krishna, then it's the price you have to pay. That's the eagerness. And with that eagerness, you can do anything. And it's joyful, jubilant. Kevala Ananda. And another is the price you have to pay is faith. This is from a song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It's a very beautiful song where Lord Chaitanya, I forget the Bengali word, but there's a Bengali word that's a word for franchise. So I'm sure you know what that word franchise means. For those that do not, like children. Someone may have a successful business, let's say, I don't know, Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, so something that there's Walmart, it's all over the place. So they own the name, the brand, and somebody over there wants to have one of those. They can have a franchise. So Lord Chaitanya gave to Lord Nityananda a franchise, whatever the Bengali word is. He gave him a franchise to sell some goods. And the goods was the holy name. And he told Lord Nityananda, you can have as many employees as you like, but they all must charge a fair price. And the fair price is faith. And then give it. You can give the holy name. So persons that don't have faith, they can chant the holy name. But if you want to experience Krishna and your relationship with Krishna, you have to pay the price. Okay? Then it goes beyond all these rituals and the externals and the mechanical. and it enters into the realm of devotion. That's the price. No free ride. Any price. Your faith. Your eagerness to be in a relationship with Krishna. Always. Everybody's happy or intimidated or tired or what?
You were saying just now, when we are Krishna Mahamudra, we say how much time is not but then when Krishna reciprocates and he gives us devotional service, you're right.
When Krishna gives us devotional service, the last part he said was he does what? We run away from service. I guess we didn't really need it. What we wanted was, relief from distress, Chatur Vidhava Jante Mam Jana Sukrita Norjuna Yani Artaki Jityasur. We wanted something. And we got the something. Not devotional service. We didn't want devotional service. We wanted relief from our distress or economic solution to some problem. Or our curiosity satisfied with some knowledge and we got it. We didn't want service. So we're not chanting with the proper meaning. That's what Dr. Thakur is saying. To go more deeply, he gives 3 tips for going more deeply into the holy name. One of them is understand the meaning of what you're chanting. That enter into the spirit. Prabhupada's phrase is enter into the spirit of the hymn. That's from Sri Brahma Samhita. Once you chant this daily and enter into the spirit of the hymn, not just recite, like make a sound like Krishna. But what is the meaning? Enter into the meaning. Enter into the spirit. So if they run the other way, they didn't enter into the spirit. Krishna gave them service, they went the other way. We want, it's a disease condition. We want to be joyous, not service. But our happiness is to be service, not enjoyment. And that's the greatest enjoyment. And the devotee understands that. And non-devotee thinks it's crazy. You people, what's wrong with you? You're brainwashed. Or what do you do for fun? I get asked, when I travel, I get asked those questions sometimes, very bluntly from some people. Some people, they appreciate it. But some people bluntly say, what do you do for fun? So they ask, what's your color? And they mean celibacy. And they don't, sometimes they don't directly say what all means, but I know what that means. And then, what's your typical day? And then describe a typical day. And then the other thought is, what do you do for fun? We have a very drab life that we have. Because, they want sex gratification. And people that may take up chanting to begin with, they may want just peace. They like the sense of peace. Because it's true. There's a sense of contentment and peace that comes from chanting. It's powerful. But then service? I'll give an example. Some of you may have been participants or witnesses of the 24-hour kirtan thing. It's a happening thing. It's happening. And wonderful kirtan performers come. Or I'll give it even more close to home. Mother Satya in New York, we have Rath Yatra. Whole busload of all the youth come. It's like, party time. She grew up in Gurukul. She can't get them to do one darn thing. I just chant for Guru. They'll go and chant for hours and hours and hours and hours to give them There are nights to cut some vegetables. For 5 minutes, then I'll go back to sleep. So, they're missing the point of what chanting is. It's not to say, that you just going to fish and cut vegetables, or a million and other things that are going on in the aftertime. And they see her. She's running around and running around and running around. She's running around. So she's doing service. Anyway, you get it. If one isn't taking that advice of Bhakti Thakur and chanting in the spirit of what chanting is. And then, when volumes of service come, that people say yes to devotional service, and another problem is too much service, no time for chanting. You don't want that one either, because chanting is nurturing the teacher of bhakti and reading it. Okay. No more questions. Last change. Okay. Typical